Linsky here. Most of us are experiencing stress. Some of us have a higher level of stress, some of us a lower level of stress. But I think it's safe to say that most of us are experiencing stress. And so here are some tips I want you to gather in how to reduce that stress so that you can calm yourself inside, so that you don't have to always be in that tiffy of trying to get things done and always trying to um, please people and do all those huge things that are on your list. Now, this time of year is our lists are really, really long. We've got all these things we're trying to get done. And as we're trying to get them done, we look at things that we don't get done and we start to stress. So here's some tips for you. One is make sure that you are not making your list so long that you're self-sabotaging yourself. You understand what I'm saying, right? Where your list is so long, you've got 20, 30 things on that list, and you can't possibly get them all done. And so you're looking at the list, you feel overwhelmed. Come on now, I've done it too. I look at that list and I think, oh my goodness, how am I ever going to get all of this done? And what do? We put it aside and we start watching Netflix or we do other things because that is so overwhelming. So here's what you can do. Make your list 5 things, the most important 5 things to do. Don't allow yourself to don't allow you to self-sabotage um, yourself because you're the one that can control this. Nobody else can do this for you. If you're stressed out, nobody else can take care of that for you. You have to do it yourself. And that might feel a little stressful too. But here's what you need to do is look at what is it that's causing the stress? Is it the list? Is it other people in your life? Because if it's other people in your life, guess what? You can do something about that too. Something called boundaries. If you have a few boundaries in place and you allow yourself to know that it's okay to say no, then you can reduce that stress. Here's the beauty in being able to do this. One, you save money. And you think, well, Pam, how do I save money by reducing stress? Because one of the biggest things that we do is procrastinate. We talked about the list. We'll put it aside because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves or it's too hard to look at all that, right? But we also procrastinate in not paying our bills. Or maybe there's something that you have been wanting to do, but you haven't done it, and it could bring you money. Or maybe you have this grand idea, but you don't ever tell anyone. You don't ever take steps. And you could be making money or you could be saving money. The other thing is that have you ever done something and you felt really good about doing it? When you accomplished it, you were like, yes, that's self-confidence. When you're reducing stress by not putting things off, you are building self-confidence. You're proving to yourself that you can do these things. And doesn't that feel good? And we're not talking big things. You can start small. So, for instance, this is an example. I always make my husband's lunch every morning. Every morning I get up, I make his lunch. Well, on Mondays, it's always harder because I have to figure out, okay, what am I going to feed him throughout this whole week for lunch? And last night, it would have been easy for me just to say, I'll take care of it tomorrow. But instead, last night, I decided, okay, what is it that he's going to eat this week? And I made chicken salad. And I did it last night so that when I woke up this morning, one, I already knew what he was going to eat. I didn't have to go through that whole, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? And two, I was able to just make his lunch and not have to make the chicken salad. And this is just an example of preparing yourself, of being prepared so that you can feel confident and feel like you are accomplishing. Because yes, it does take some plan. Here's the deal. Now, there's some of us that aren't very good planners. Planning sounds like work, right? But let me ask you this. Do you want to be successful? Do you want to reduce that stress? If you do, there are some things that we can do that only takes a few seconds to do that actually can reduce that stress. And that is being better prepared. It is setting the clothes out the night before, or writing those 5 things that are most important to do the night before, so that when you wake up, you feel like, okay, I know exactly what I need to do. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes my mind's just not into it. Sometimes my mind takes a while to get the gears moving and really focus on what it is I'm supposed to be doing for the day. So if I take care of it the night before, I can start my day with success. I can start my day feeling confident and knowing, okay, this is what I need to do today. The other thing is that whenever you're reducing stress and you stop putting things off, you feel good and you can be spontaneous. You're like, what do you mean, Pam? I'm not a real spontaneous person, is what you might be saying. But here's the deal. If you keep putting things off, you don't have time to do the things that you really want to do. Or if a friend calls you and says, "Hey, let's go have lunch today," what's the first thing your mind does? Does it go over all the things that you've been procrastinating on? All the things that you've been putting off? Or are you taking care of those things? And when someone calls you for lunch, you can say, yeah, I would love to do that. Or maybe you would like to do something for self care, but you feel so guilty because you have this list of things that you haven't got done. It's time for us to be successful. It's time to reduce that stress so that we can feel good, so that we can walk into our day feeling confident, feeling successful. Do you know what happens when we walk into a day and we're already stressed when we wake up? That feeling of being stressed permeates outside of us and it affects other people. We treat people differently when we're under stress than when we're calm and we feel good. Make sure that you're doing those things. Take these tips and use them so that you can have more confidence, more success, and feel good. It's time to thrive while alive.